And Christmas is upon us. Christmas is here. Christmas is here. Happiness is near. And you have to bask in the glory and the season of Christmas and make sure that you are enjoying yourself. My name is Johnny Hughes, and good to have you, and good to be here. And, it's Friday, so we're getting ready for the weekend to celebrate and to jubilate with us, and also make sure that they count so that the week that will succeed this weekend will be rejuvenated, energized, and all of that. Which, speaking of which, we'd like to say happy birthday to Titi, daughter of Prudence Lai here at TV3. It's your birthday today. Also, a happy birthday to Dinah Pau Adugu, a midwife of the Home Municipal Hospital. This is from Serena, your daughter, and all of your friends working at the Attorney General's Department in Ho. They say they love you. The Daily Statement this morning says Rawlings' funeral postponed following the reservations raised by the royal family where it comes from. Let's act within the law. House of Chiefs charges aggrieved politicians to call their supporters to order. And also, Ashanti region gives NDC more votes than the Volta region. The Daily Graphic. Motorway menace on increase, and Graphic unveils 70 winners for its monthly 70th loyalty promo. Also, NDC wins Senate West seat, and yesterday you saw the court throw out that petition and hit the petitioners, the MPP, with a cost of some 14,000 plus an earlier 6,000, making 20,000, and asked the parties to go back to the Electoral Commission to make sure that the ballots are counted. It was counted indeed, and close margin 13,100 and 13,116, the difference in favor of the NDC. The BNFT, private educators present, united front to push for better standards. Informal sector emerges stronger despite economic recession. Economists calls for more public investment for the sector. And Parliament passes anti-money laundering bill for 2020. The Daily Guide, NDC presenter in hot waters, has been granted bail, we understand. Kweku Baku says leave him alone. Will the law leave him alone? Better days ahead, I'm sure. Government procures 112 more ambulances to add to the 307 which campaign we started here sometime in November 2019. Remember that and keep that in mind as well. We were called names, but alas, the ambulances were used for campaigns. Ministers deny sabotage, and NDC wins Senate West by 116 votes. Rawlings' funeral postponed over family fight, and Ashanti region parliamentary results is on page 8. Find out who won what, when, and how. The Ghanaian Times. We have evidence to challenge election results, according to the NDC Sami Jemfi yesterday in a press conference. Also, chiefs approved to appeal to political parties and their leaders. Ojaho Hoya JB II is the president of the National House of Chiefs. Also, Mr. Cherme Tiahini, Director General of the GAC, it says antiretroviral drug shortage hits Ghana, but government says no. Well, we have always had this back and forth. Literally, they are on their own. Man remanded for allegedly shooting 3 in Ablekuma Central at the Coalition Center. Wendy Lai was there. She brought you live pictures and the live fire that was ongoing. Daily Analyst, the final one. Without fear or favor, that's what they say they are. Ablekuma Central shooter remanded, and one person, we're told, has died as a result of that particular one. Sambo Fuswampo for NDC National Chairman. NDC seats now 137 after winning Senate West. So it's 137 plus 1 independent candidate. Formally speaking, we will find out some more. Police arrest 26 persons over NDC protests, and Rawlings' funeral has been postponed. My guest this morning is Mr. Malik Basintali. He is the Savannah Region's NDC Communication Director. Also to join us will be Mr. George AEC. He is the National Communications Director of NADMO. But if you're admiring what I'm wearing, Friday, splendid pavilion in glory by Sonar Fashions in Tamale. And you can always contact him on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and get something nice for yourself. Malik, good morning to you. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good to be here.
How's the Savannah reading panning out?
Well, solid. We're preparing for a massive protest on Monday in the region to register our displeasure and on the just ended, flawed election conducted by President Nanado's Electoral Commission Officer, Jen Mensah.
The Electoral Commission is for the country, not for
I think that the Savannah region is good. We've President Mahama won a landslide victory in the Savannah region. We audited our pink sheets. There were some little anomalies in what the Electoral Commission itself, uploaded on their website. And we think that those discrepancies must be settled properly. So we're combining evidence, we're supporting all other regions to make a very solid case. But the Savannah region is still doing well and good.
What are the protests supposed to achieve? Because 26 people were told have been arrested yesterday while they tried to picket at the office of the Electoral Commission. I saw the soldiers asking them to clean the debris that they had left there. And every now and then, these protests seem to heighten a certain sense of emotion in the people. What do you want it to achieve?
Until today, and until President Nanado's administration, protests, demonstrations, picketing, and what have you, are all legal means of registering your displeasure.
But police says abide by the Public Order Act. You are not playing by that.
What does the Public Order Act say?
Give me 5 days
notification. We go by all those things. If it had not been that, went by those things, in all our demonstrations, you find out that the police appeared there.
But the people, but the people who were at the Electoral Commission yesterday, Malik, yes, they didn't have the 5 days.
In fact, Johnny, I even heard people say that among the NDC supporters, some brought AK-47 and said, we're shooting into the police. I heard yesterday. But till today, I haven't seen any arrest. I haven't seen anything. The only bullets we picked on the grounds were bullets and tear gas, shells and what have you, shot by the police. But they accused us that we had come, we shot into police vans, people were holding AK-47s, Mark 4s and what have you. And these are the accusations. But until today, like I said, I had never seen a protest being an unlawful way of going about activities. It is under President Nanado's administration. Look, Johnny, when you, the media, were trying to formalize your RTI bail.
You're right.
You remember?
I remember.
When you, the media, were trying to formalize your RTI bail. Everybody in this country told you, the media, that the best option was to go to court.
Right.
You went to court. Okay, some people took it to court. In the end, some protests here and there, what have you. Finally, you landed in Parliament, and you, the media, had to protest before the RTI bill was passed. In that shambolic way, it was done under this administration. And so sometimes, when I sit down and I hear a lot of media people say, go to court, do this, do that, I ask myself, but when once had a problem, you took to the streets and you protested. This is not the only instance where you in the media fraternity have protested. When there was mass brutalities, you remember when some of you media people went to the MPP headquarters and they chased 2 people out, beat some of you and what have you, until the Media Foundation for West Africa declared that the MPP headquarters was a very dangerous zone and anybody goes there in his own interest. You people took to the streets and protested that you wanted independence, you wanted freedom, you wanted press freedom and what have you. And every now and then, I think that you do it. So until today, I had never seen a country where protests had been illegal. Look, in the United States, blacks that are there, in 2012, I remember after the election, MPP gathered some of their foot soldiers and what have you to protest. They did it in the United States, in America, which is not even their country. And the police came there, and look, when I watch the videos, you see that the police were smiling and calm, and we're okay. They allowed them to do whatever they want to do. So it is until today, under President Nanado's administration, that the protest has suddenly become a crime, and nobody can protest, nobody can register his displeasure.
On a humanitarian grounds, and if you like, on a commonsensical approach, you are asking your supporters to go out there to protest, to protect their ballot.
Okay.
The crowd we saw at the Electoral Commission yesterday didn't include any of you. Not regional executive, not
that's highly false. Yesterday, Akamba was there. He granted a press conference. Yesterday, Chairman Adekoka was there. He granted a press conference live on TV. So anybody who says that is only trying to peddle falsehood. All those people
John
were there.
Mahama was not there. Professor Nana General Kukwajima was not there.
Let me tell you something.
General Sidun Ketia, obviously he was
absolutely. They were in Center West. President Mahama had to travel to Techima to see some of the people that President Akufo-Addo's militia and what have you had shot and killed some of them. He had to go and visit their families. Look, as at now, President Mahama is in the country. President Mahama's children are in the country. As of now, President Nanado is out of the country.
He's on official duty.
I mean, nobody knows where his children are.
He's
but
on
President
President
Mahama comes to meet NDC supporters with his children, and he comes. This is a man who is part and parcel of whatever has been happening. Nevertheless, have you heard President Mahama say anywhere that when you go out there, protest and destroy things and whatever? President Mahama said yesterday that we should register our displeasure in a calm way. He's urging all NDC supporters to remain law-abiding citizens, of which we are doing. And that is why I'm saying that, look, Johnny,
you went to Malik,
in the media fraternity have protested. You have protested so many times, and you've had your concerns met.
Malik,
but today the NDC protests, and people say, no, don't do it, don't do protest, don't go.
Malik, you went to a court in Wenchi over the Senate West seat. You have won it.
We didn't go to court. NPP took it to court.
Okay, they took
we
it.
We didn't take it to court.
So I'm saying that you went out to court to battle it out.
Absolutely.
The NPP petitioned. They withdrew the petition. The judge slapped a 6,000 cedis cost on them, and then the judge says, "Okay, come back and let's deal with the issues." The judge threw it out and slapped another 14,000 on them, making 20,000. But in the end, the ruling happened. Say, go back to the Electoral Commission, go and count the ballot. You counted it. You have won. So there's some trust process that's going on in the courts. Why don't you want to go to court? The most popular phrase in town these days is go to court.
I mean, Johnny,
why wouldn't you go to court? Let me welcome George, AEC of NADMO in, and also say a special good morning to Robert Coleman of Wembley, Senior Blaobi, and Kim Padwas for your both doing the watching. And George, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny.
You're good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Excited and happy that Ghanaians have given us the 4 more to do more.
I see. I'll come to why, as campaign manager for your wife, you couldn't get the seat for her for a second time. We'll come to that. But the most popular phrase, Malik, in town these days is go to court.
Okay.
Why aren't you going to court?
You know, first of all, in the Wenchi matter, the NPP were quick to go to court without any iota of evidence. At the end of the day, as I speak to you, I understand this morning the lawyer and his clients are running around looking for money somewhere to go and pay the court. And all these things. The NDC won the case by defending the matter in court. In 2012, Johnny, and let me be very critical on this. The NPP, after losing the election, quickly started such protests we are doing today on the streets. Now, from 7 December 2012, when they lost the election, you know when they went to court? They went to court on 28th of December 2012. About how many days? 21 clear solid days from the day of the election. With that, they were baffling polling stations of 26,000 in this country. Today, 2020, the number of polling stations as declared by the Electoral Commission is about 38,000. We just lost, the election was conducted on the 7th, okay? 8th, 9th, it was declared around the 9th, 10th, right? And then you find hypocrites in the MPP telling the NDC, oh, you should have been in court by now. You should have been. What's today's date? Today is the 18th.
All right.
I mean, we haven't even gotten to the days you spent at home before going to court. Yet we are dealing with a higher number of polling stations. As we speak today, look, it was just only yesterday that we realized that in the northern region, they had inflated the figures by about 90,000. 90,000, they know how they did it. It was very simple. They didn't use any, they used a very smart move and well-orchestrated criminology.
You were sleepy on the job then.
I mean, no, but
because if you had polling agents who are supposed to be watching and you didn't see this, you were sleeping on the job.
And so that is why you should ask as to whether our polling agent signed the document or not. He didn't. He contested it. It is here. This is go to the Electoral Commission's website. Anybody close to his documents can cross-check. It is here. Our polling agent never signed the document. Okay. Now, in figures, in West, the numbers were 409,963. But in West, they wrote 499,963 and tallied that, because in West, every accountant will tell you that when there are discrepancies, you go by the word. They went by West and tallied that. So an inflation of 90 clear thousand for President for Mr. Akufo-Addo. And that had been done. So it was only yesterday that as a result of checking all the 38,000 plus polling stations, we realized some of these discrepancies. And it is clear. And that is why we are confident. Look,
okay.
I'm surprised, my brother.
Will you go to court? Will you go to court? Will you go to court? Will you go to court?
Which victory did you secure?
Will you go to court?
President Nana is on his way out.
Will you go to court?
Said you had secured.
Will you go to court? You have 21 days post when the results are gazetted. Now, the results have been gazetted. 21 days is ticking. Will you go to court?
In a space of fighting for your democratic rights and freedoms and what have you, court is just an option. among other options. And so I'm surprised that people who want us to settle at their favorable option than other options. Protests are there, demonstrations are there. I mean, there's even a clear case, and I'm looking forward, and I know that President Akufo-Addo himself may just come out to concede. It happened in other countries, you remember?
Really?
In Mali, before you remember in Mali, the president came out and he conceded. In fact,
that was after the military had stepped in.
Absolutely, and so he just conceded.
Is that what you're looking for?
Is that what you're looking for? The court is just an option.
Is that what you're looking for? The Malian situation?
The court is just an option among other options, and at the end of the day, we will choose the appropriate option that we would use and prove to President Akufo-Addo that he lost the election and lost it woefully.
Final question, can you look into the eyes of the 26 people who were arrested yesterday because they went out to protest on your orders, on the orders of their leadership, and tell them that it is one of the many ways to get justice for us? Can you look into the eyes and
First
tell them
of all, I would pray and plead with the about 6 people that have been killed as a result of President Akufo-Addo's attitude of trying to rig an election and what have you. And I'll pray that they should forgive him, whatever they are, because as we speak today, they are 6 feet down. So my first prayer is that they should forgive the old man for what he had done. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's being controlled and trying to push this country into chaos and what have you. Secondly, those 26 people that we have arrested and what have you, I will tell them that we are fighting on. The battle has not ended. It is relentless. It is so clear that we cannot sit aloof and allow the voices of the more than 6 million Ghanaians just go waste and what have you. And look, just yesterday, I had so many calls from a lot of police officers saying that, hey, you people should keep fighting. The people had deceived us. I said,
police officers from where?
I mean, police officers said they had deceived them. They said they had increased their salaries, only to go to the bank yesterday and realize that their salaries had gone back to the old one. And I said, but President Akufo-Addo deceived God himself. He said he was building the National Cathedral.
Okay.
Till today, God is asking for his cathedral. He hasn't received
the cathedral is in progress.
If God himself had been deceived by this the man, then how much more you?
The cathedral is in progress. I don't know if God has been deceived yet. George, step in for me at this point. Did you collaborate with the Electoral Commission to rig the elections? Because I'm asking that because I've seen the gazetted results. I've seen the results that was initially announced on the 9th. I've seen the changes that have happened in between. And 2 values. You are a maths teacher, hard maths teacher, you know. The 2 values on the sheet, that doesn't add up. 1, rejected ballots. That value hasn't changed since the 9th, when Dr. Jim Mensah started mentioning the figure. It stayed around 313,000 or so. That hasn't changed. Number 2, the figure that the Electoral Commission says they inadvertently announced, which they say is wrong, hasn't also changed in terms of the voter turnout. It's remained 79%. You are a maths teacher. First of all, does it make sense to you? And then you tell me whether you conspired with the Electoral Commission to reach the election.
Thank you. Good morning to you, Johnny. Good morning to our viewers, your production crew, and good morning to my brother, Basantali. The MPP went out to contest an election, presidential and parliamentary, with 11 other candidates. The Electoral Commission did its work. We made sure we had agents in all the 38,000 polling stations, and then all the 275 collation centers, and all the 16 regional collation centers, and of course, at the National Center, where the returning officer for the presidential election is the Electoral Commissioner herself. And so, having done all these things and gone through all the processes, we were sure that we had won the elections. And we had a parallel collation point. If you look at this, as part of our summary sheets and co. I remember I was at the Cape Coast North Collation Center representing the party. And you know, something interesting happened there. So when I hear some of these things, it's worrying. I salute the Cape Coast North and for that matter, the Cape Coast Electoral Commissioner. What they did, Johnny, was that when they are inputting, you know, they have a screen there, and then when they make their inputs, you follow them, you can see it. And when they finished, we were then comparing with our own records and co. So when they finished, they came, sat down, polling station by polling station, they were doing cross-checking with us, okay? And so when at a point you disagree with a figure that they've mentioned, and I pull out these documents, Then the EC, Mr. Sensu, will tell me, George, we are sorry, we are not going to take this as your basis to contest any figure we have. All we need is your pink sheets. Okay, rightly so. Okay, and so we had to then get our pink sheet to then verify and ensure that indeed that is what it is. And so I saw these as straight, open, transparent, and fair means of electoral process, especially case study Cape Coast North. Okay, now when you go out there, people are saying, the NDC are saying, you know, and Johnny, another interesting exciting, I watched TV3 and other television stations. Not at any point T did President Mahama overtake President Nana-Addo in the counting process, okay? In the collation, in the public and the media. Not at any point T did he overtake. And then he was overtaken again. The president led to the final result was announced, at least in the media space. And so when I heard all these things, I said, hey, then let me come to the question you asked, the mathematical question.
Right.
I did a write-up, but unfortunately, I used the initial pronouncements, okay, those figures. And then later, I got together changes that were made, which reduced some of the NDC votes from the day one, okay, from the 20... on the 9th figure. You know, the 10th figure, there were some changes.
I mean, the declaration was made on the 9th by Jean Mensah and the Electoral Commission. Yes. But on the 10th, there was a press release to suggest that the total number of voters who turned out to vote out of the 70 million that had been registered was inadvertently quoted. And that figure was reduced.
Yes.
Now, my question is, you're a maths teacher. If that figure, which was quoted on the 9th, is said to have been 79% of the people who turned out to vote, if that figure reduces, shouldn't the 79 figure reduce as well?
It depends. You know, you do...
on what?
No, you do rounding up and all that. Ordinarily, it should reduce because if you look at the figure, and you sum it up, you saw that the MPP's votes went up a bit and the NDC's reduced.
Right.
You get it?
Right.
And so then it depends on the margin of the reduction.
But the total number of people who turned out to vote reduced.
Yes,
it was
from 13 million 121,111
right.
to 13 million 119. You get it?
So it should reduce.
So it's about 2,000 votes.
Right.
Okay?
And that's a percentage point, maybe.
Yes. Yeah. 2,000, maybe about 0.02% thereabout of the total valid.
But then they should reduce that.
Yes.
Because if the argument is that for...
But I saw reduction in the percentages of the president and then that of the NDC.
As for that, so that's why I'm saying that, look, if you're a maths teacher, and thankfully, maybe you will help us.
Yes.
My maths is not so good.
I do that.
Now, you have on the tally sheet President Akufo-Addo, ex-President Mahama, Cherabusome, comes all the way to Asiedu Walker.
Yes.
If you put the values together, you are supposed to get 100. Correct?
Correct.
Now, if the values have reduced for President Akufo-Addo, President Mahama has reduced for everybody else, the values must reduce all the way down to reflect the true picture. Is that not the case?
No, it shouldn't necessarily. It should. Some gained. If you watch the 10th, you know, I think the Kwiadonko gained.
Right.
There are
that's right.
Some gained.
That's
you
right.
know, some gained and some lost.
Some dropped.
You get it?
But then the totality of all the values should be 100, correct?
100%.
Okay.
Yes, 100%.
Now the NDC is, for example, raising a point that if you put the values together, it doesn't. It goes beyond the 100% mark.
Oh, that's the new one?
Right.
Oh, wow. I've not done that computation because I did for the 10th one, and it was 100%. That's the 13 million, 121 and 111. What I did was, you know, I did two calculations. The first calculation is as declared by Madam J. Mensah.
Right, on the 9th.
Then Madam said again, on the same 9th, that if she were to add all the votes for Techi Mensah to that of candidate JM, the President Akufo-Addo was going to be the winner. Johnny, in doing that computation, what it meant was that the first one, the denominator was going to be 13,121,111, right? And so if you were to add all the votes to JM, then the denominator is going to change. Okay, so it means it's going to be 13,121,111 plus 128,018. Okay, and that is going to put us around 30,034,9,129 thereabout.
Okay,
right, and then you're going to then do the new percentages based on the new denominator.
Okay. Now, in doing so, at some point the denominator,
yes,
as Jean said, was wrong.
Yes.
So it changed.
Yes.
Now, if the denominator changed, and I'm asking you this so that you educate the public as a master child, if the denominator changed, now the figure or the value for rejected ballots, I'm interested in that, has stayed at 2.333 recurring.
Okay.
It stayed like that, constant, since 9. Now, all the values that would determine what rejected ballots are have changed, but rejected ballot has not changed.
Okay, is it
normal?
Let me tell you one. The computation of the votes of the parties is based on the valid votes.
Okay.
The valid votes.
Right.
The computation of the generality of the whole thing then is based on the total votes.
Okay.
That's where rejected ballots percentage comes in.
So that's why it stayed constant.
Possibly. Because we are having, when you're doing NDC, MPP and co, your denominator is based on the total valid votes.
Right.
But when you want to go beyond that, your denominator is going to be the denominator that the madam was mentioning.
Okay.
Okay. The 434, whatever, you get the 30,434,434,
right,
which you said was inadvertently posed as the valid votes. That is the total votes. And the rejected votes is going to be calculated, that number over that total times 100.
Okay, so now you again, I'll rehash your maths teacher position, just so people don't forget that we're talking mathematics. If the process to getting the answer is wrong, does it make the answer right or wrong?
No,
because in calculating percentages, numerator, denominator times 100.
Yes.
Now, here's an electoral commission that says that I got the numerator wrong, or the denominator, one of the values wrong. So then the answer should be right or wrong.
No, what they did...
Because when in the classroom, you ask your students to show working, correct?
Yes, I'm going to show you working.
Okay.
What she did and said, it doesn't change it. She didn't say it doesn't change it because the figures will not change.
Okay.
She said it doesn't change it because per the constitution, the 50% plus one was gotten by the winner.
Okay.
That was the interpretation.
But
the figures changed.
But per the constitution, the 50% plus one was gotten by the winner. However, it was gotten by the winner because she quoted a wrong figure in the first place.
Yes, and the second one. No, and then when she corrected it, when you do the calculation, it was still going to give you 50 point something. Okay, that's why she said it didn't change. Well, it doesn't materially mean the figure itself it changed. It changed, but it was still within the 50 points. So it didn't get the 51.295 as announced by on the 9th. It then came to, I think, 50 or 51 point something, 03 or something like that. You get it?
Right.
So it means it's still within the constitutional remit of 50 plus 1.
So now, the CI has provisions that says that you cannot change the values of the results without consulting the political parties. That press statement that was written obviously was not with the tacit approval of the political parties, but it was changed anyway. Now, again, we go back to the process of getting the answer. We know what the Electoral Commission structure looks like. Polling station, it goes to the coalition center, the constituency, it goes to the region, then it comes to the national level. If the Electoral Commission has gone through all this process to arrive at the figures and suddenly decides that, okay, the numerator or denominator that I quoted is wrong, so let me shave off some of the numbers, shouldn't the Electoral Commission be answering which polling station, which constituency, which region that is shaved it from? Why are you not asking for it? Why are you not asking for it?
Well, you are asking now. You get it. The EC should tell us. I thought, she explained why she said her initial figure wasn't right. In fact, I thought her emphasis on the total votes was what the problem was. It was later that I got to know figures were actually,
they were
involved.
changed. So we should be told where the figures are changed. So why aren't you asking for it? You should be asking. Or like the grapevine says, because you're a beneficiary of the wrong calculation.
Oh, no. We are not beneficiary of the wrong calculation. Okay, we are not. Because it affected, so she is to explain that, in fact, we omitted constituency A, okay, from region B or so. That is how come, we've added it, and then these changes. It is on the my big brother, Dr. Bosman, to come and explain that, because he is the corporate affairs manager for the Electoral Commission. And so I would rather they come to explain, because when you do any change, you tell us there's inadvertent error, and then you're rectifying the error. You need to tell everybody where that error occurred and where it's coming from. Then let me touch on the demonstration a little.
You come in, man.
Yes,
I had to get him on the mathematical side because his background. Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. We come in. I saw the NDC demonstrator pelting stones at the policemen. Okay? Reporter, your sister station, Maxwell Agbagba. You have one guy who looks like you, another hardworking guy, Kobla or something.
Kobla Kluche.
Yes. You get
Kobla was in Senate yesterday.
Yes, I saw him. You get it. So when I saw that, I said, what's happening? And Kasifori was moving, and the team, and they had blocked stones, carried other materials into the main road. It was supposed to be a peaceful demonstration. You get it? And so I thought, no. And it's like that. If people are incensed about something like election results, and you keep them on the street for a longer time, it's going to degenerate. Okay? And so the degeneration point was yesterday when we saw what we saw. It's unfortunate. I thought it shouldn't get there. But once you begin to be aggressive and violent, the police will not watch.
Who brought this up? Who brought this upon us? Who brought this massing up, throwing of stones, burning of ties, all the heightened tension? Who brought it upon us?
They brought it.
Who?
The NDC, they felt they've lost the election. They said they won't accept it. So what do we do?
But
you had agents in all the police stations.
But if the Electoral Commission comes to say, I quoted wrong figures to declare the president.
No. What is the material? No, we've seen some before. Aforijan, he's done some before. There've been errors that they quoted and then inadvertently quoted and came back to rectify them. This happened before the precedents. Okay? Even when we went to Supreme Court, we saw a lot of errors. And when I saw Sami Jemfi, my good brother, yesterday, I said, wow, deja vu. Deja vu. What he's putting out is no different from what we put out in 2012. You get it?
Same play, different actors.
Yes, thank you. You get it? So, it's worried. The demonstrators, I think the leadership of the NDC should speak to them. Because when in 2012, our people went to the street the same day, the reflex reaction, we went to Obrasports and some smashed people's cars and cool. Nana Kumia and a team went and apologized. They attacked some media
pressmen were beaten as well.
They went and apologized.
Madam, on that occasion, I remember Obushi Kofi, Anthony Cabo, Ajua Safo, Mr. Safo Mafo, Nana Kumia. There was a long list of Dr. Kunedu Apreku, IC Kwe, who all came to address. Yes.
Then after that,
but that was not before the protest. The protest happened.
Yes.
The people had gathered what they call the Accra version of the Tahil Square.
And after that, His Excellency, then the leader, candidate Nanado, who lost the election, went to Obrasport and spoke to them to disperse them that we are taking the legal action, process. And so they should go home and rest. And then we will proceed to court and get the true verdict as to whether we won or we lost. And then the people dispersed.
So what do you want Mahama to do now?
He should go and speak to his people. That, look, yes, I believe I won this election. Although I don't believe it. He lost, right? I won this election. We have protested. We've registered our dissent and disagreement with the EC. We've come to the street for how many days? We've made a statement. Now, all of you go home. We are going to weigh the options and choose whether we're taking the legal action or what other way to, because he has signed to the pact. It doesn't also mean signing in means you should allow yourself to be cheated.
Well, but the point,
I agree.
But the point is that, I mean, there are many legal avenues, like Basintali says, many legal avenues that are available to them, including protests. That is enshrined within our Public Order Act.
So as long as the protest is peaceful, nobody is going to worry them. As long as I have said, and I believe Nanado is a consummate Democrat. Okay, he's a consummate Democrat, and he knows these are all part of the legal processes. Okay, we allow them, but when it begins to degenerate, or you allow agents provocateurs to infiltrate and cause trouble, they may not be NDC people, right? But once they've been allowed in to cause trouble, ultimate responsibility is on the leadership of the NDC. If you want
flowers to grow, grass will grow too. I don't know what you say. Malik, now I asked a question, and which I want you to respond to as well. The Electoral Commission has given everybody a structure that we have 38,622 polling stations. We will generate the results from there. Take them to all the 275 constituencies. Take them on to all the 16 regions, and then bring them to one national collation center. Now, having gone through that process, they get you a figure that was announced as the final results. Then the EC comes back later to say, I have shaved some of the numbers because I got one value wrong. Shouldn't you be asking where the shaving was done?
Clearly.
So why are you not asking?
Clearly. We have asked not less than 50 questions already. That has not been answered. And you see, when we went on a mathematical drift, I wanted to prompt. You see, the Ghanaian voter understands that when I vote for President Mahama, when two people vote for President Mahama, and one person votes for Nana Akufo-Addo, automatically Nanado has lost, right? That is what the Ghanaian voter understands.
Okay.
Now, I don't see how, vote pardon has to do with mathematics. Simply, I did an exercise here where on the pink sheet, Nanado had 409,963. In words, they wrote it 499,963 and tallied that. That has absolutely nothing to do with mathematics. That is simple rigging. Now, there's a constituency.
I have one which the wording was less.
There's a
MPP.
Okay. Allow you get a chance.
At SDA Primary School, in the Sunyani West, the total registered voters there, was 49.
The Chira, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. The total registered voters there was 49. So 49 people were expected at most, at 100% rate to cast their votes.
And that is because there was a cluster system that the Electoral Commission used to register people.
Sorry,
so that, for example, if you had a cluster of 6, and this 49, if by the Electoral Commission's own explanation is that, then this 49 would have been registered on the final day of the cluster. So that in my neighborhood, for example, you could have maybe 75, 80 people at one polling station. It's not because people didn't turn up, but if you check the cluster of 6, you find that the cluster that did the first set of registration had more numbers than the cluster that did the last registration. So I am guessing that this 49
is a subset of a major set.
Well, but then it also is a polling station on its own.
Absolutely. Let me explain that to you. 49, expectantly, at 100% rate, 49 people are supposed to walk and vote in that ballot box. We're talking of a ballot box, not a cluster system.
Polling station.
Absolutely, a ballot box there. Now, at the end of the day, they, in fact, bringing sheets, voter sheets there, they brought about 60, so that in case some are spoiled and what have you, they'll be able to replace it. At the end of the day, when they turned the box to count, there were 466 sheets in it.
How did that happen?
Absolutely. Our agent protested. Automatically, per election regulations, if there's an overvoting, once you sort and there's an overvoting there, you keep it on hold so that issue will be determined later. This returning officer went ahead, compiled the results, they came out and they declared, which is very false and very wrong.
Really?
This is one of many. Now, secondly...
Let's play that back again.
Yes,
so, 49 people.
49 people. At 100% rate, were supposed to vote there.
Okay. Now, AC says, I'll give you 60 sheets because of people may be coming.
Absolutely.
And then you're saying that you got how many people?
466. When they declared, the pink sheet is here. I have a copy of the pink sheet. When they declared, and he boldly wrote it on it, that 466 people are clear overvoted. In fact, I have pictures, evidence of the booklets when they gave to us. Okay, the pre,
right.
The register. Okay. Absolutely. We have figures, and I have clearly evidence of it. It shows 49 people that were supposed to vote. In the end, 466 people voted.
So look, now we know the process. You get to the polling station as a polling agent.
Yes.
Or as a party agent.
Yes.
Your first job is to check whether the machines are functional, to check whether everybody is there, and to check if the register that you have from the Electoral Commission is the same register that the Electoral Commission is using to administer the election. Did your people check before the process started at 7 a.m.?
Look, if there were no instances of people we having overvoted in the ballot box, there wouldn't have been a law for treating matters of overvoting. It means that even the law appreciates the fact that through some dubious ways and some means and what have you, people are able to stuff the box.
Okay.
But that is why there's a law for that. And that's what I'm saying. So the agent can be there.
Okay.
We've had instances where you can even be there yourself. Through some, dubious and whatever means, people still get opportunity.
I get it. I get it that there are remedies. I get it that there are. Hold on. I get it that there are. Hold on. I get it. Hold on, Malik. I get it that there are remedies in the law. I am saying that when you get to the polling station, say I get to Kaneshi JSS, I get there, I'm a party agent. My party has given me a copy of the register that the Electoral Commission gave. You are the presiding officer. He's the other party agent. We all come to you and confirm, this is what I have here. It's the same thing you have here. This is the machine we have. Let's check if nobody has voted yet. Now, we do all of that, satisfy ourselves before we start voting. I'm asking, was that process done, or were they not allowed to do it at all?
Absolutely, that process was verily done. But that has nothing to do with ballot stuffing. That is what I'm saying. 2 people can vote. Okay, in the end of the day, you find 10 ballot papers in there.
Right.
So it does nothing.
So that's the question you are raising.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Checking it
I just wanted clarification as to whether you checked before.
You gave me a law straight.
Okay.
But you had all the time before.
For example, after counting. And
I'm coming to your savannah.
After counting and what have you. It was clear that our candidate at Zabzugu, they had won the election. Just when they were waiting for the returning officer to come and declare at the coalition center, the person got lost. They went to a secret hideout, and the video is in the public domain.
Got lost how?
They couldn't find the returning officer there to declare. The returning officer went to a secret hideout. I'm surprised you people haven't seen this.
He chopped Ayira.
They went there, and then the police, in presence of military protection and what have you, declared the results for the NPP. True, without any iota, without any pink sheet, nothing. Just stood there and declared. In Techima South, for example, the returning officer, police, military, what have you, came in there, they declared the results. In the end, our party people went there. They said, give us a copy of your declaration. Till today, Johnny, if you go today, it tells you it is bent. If you go tomorrow, it says go to the original. If you know the work you had done was genuine and authentic, why are you hiding it? Then he was quick to say that on the election day, he was monitoring TV3 and the news, and there was no point, President Mahama. Look, he simply wants us to go back to the 149 seats issue. If he wants us to go there, we monitored media houses that declared that NPP had won 149. TV3 declared. They said with an independent audit. Their own audit, 149. At the end of the day, we realized that it was a sham, it was false, and we haven't. The people of this country haven't still received an apology.
But you also said you had won.
You also said that at the demonstration, and I just want you to appreciate the caliber of person speaking on this platform.
Okay.
He said at the demonstration, he saw NDC people throwing stones, and even your reporter was there. Komla was in Senate West.
I said, Komla
was in Senate West. But he said you could even confirm from Agbagba and Komla that they were there, and he saw them.
He said Agbagba looks like Komla.
That's it. He said the people you could confirm they were there. And meanwhile, Komla, as he spoke,
he's talking about the caliber of person.
Simple
English. Simple English.
George Allah.
Can you control your panelists?
Simple English.
George Allah.
So the discrepancies out there, okay, are glaring, are clear, and I am saying that some of these irregularities simply have nothing to do with the long talks and whatever you're doing and the laughter.
You have found out. This, for example, from Chira. You have found out from other places. You have evidence.
Thank you.
You have evidence of vote padding.
Okay.
You have evidence of miscalculation or undercalculation.
Deja vu.
Overcalculation. You have all these things. What are you going to do with it?
In the end,
Propaganda.
let me use the Senate West
Okay.
matter as an example.
Right.
We had to keep protesting. Our people had to stand there and ensure that that ballot box was safeguarded and secured.
But you had the
In the
key.
end,
You had the
I'm
key to the strong room.
I'm coming. In the end, when our supporters were there, Johnny, today you are doing a lot of talks for the EC, the EC, I'm surprised. But in the end, our people stood there, safeguarded it. When the matter became tensed, the police came in, they took the ballot box, safely kept it, there was an agreement. Then the MPP took it to court to put an injunction on this counting. We only went to court to defend what we were
snatched
already
that box?
protesting. It was an MPP person who snatched the box and they had to capture him. In the end, what happened? Our protest led to the law being enforced, and in the end of the day, we secured that seat.
Johnny,
so I'm saying, look, anywhere, Johnny,
He's thinking all
anywhere
the time.
that your opponent is quick to say, go to court, go. What is in court that you want NDC to go to court? Go to court, go to court.
There's
And
justice in court.
And I explained that when it was their turn in 2012, they stayed 21 clear days.
That's the law.
21 10 days, calculating polling stations of just 26,000. Okay? And finally went to court on 28th. We are not yet at 28th. The number of police stations used this year is 12,000 more than what was used under their era. And you are sitting here, every day say, go to court. Go. My brother,
Did you
I'm
hear me
sitting
say
here
go to court?
tell, we keep changing goalposts. Today, let's go to court. We shouldn't go to court.
No, you say I'm sitting here.
Today, let's
So
go
it
to
means
court.
you are quoting
What
me.
I'm saying, Johnny, whatever is in that court,
Right.
that you want the NDC to go, whatever you have kept and
Johnny.
staffed or whatever you have placed in that court,
Johnny.
that you want the NDC to go and bring finality to this matter. I am saying that there are so many means and so many mediums of killing a cat. I'm telling our protesters out there, the fight is on. Techima South, for example, my brother, it is clear. All the pink
Sealed
sheets are available. Oh, I beg your pardon. All the pink sheets are available.
Okay.
If we tally in the end, we are winning Techima South by more than 1,000 votes.
Okay.
All the pink
Johnny.
sheets
Okay,
are clear.
thank you.
Johnny,
Thank
is that a second bite?
we are
Johnny,
winning.
So
Let me show you
then go
something.
to court. Thank you.
I think that
Let me see your pink sheet as well.
Yes, yes.
There's
That's
nothing.
Savannah.
Which,
Yes,
yeah, Savannah.
He's from
His
Savannah.
backyard.
Yes.
Okay. You said he's bringing something.
NPP had 80,000
Allow,
in
allow.
figures. 80,605. This is the electoral commission
Okay.
put out there. In West, it says 80,205.
So you agree to the incompetence of the
Allow.
You
You
say
agree to the
West.
incompetence of the
Malik, allow him to make his point.
I'm telling you, you cited
are
an
going to
instance, and I'm telling you,
So-
is that if they are tallying the words,
Okay.
then we have also suffered.
You agree to the
Instead of
incompetence of the
605,
EC now.
it's 205.
So the EC is incompetent.
You get it?
It's incompetent.
So it's there.
You agree
Okay?
that the EC is incompetent.
Oh, please, what is this?
I say you agree.
Allow.
That the EC is
Malik,
incompetent.
allow.
That is very clear.
Allow.
What's
Judge,
that?
what
I'm surprised.
what does what you read imply?
That makes
Oh,
no.
Malik,
He made
please.
the
Let
argument
him
that there was in West it was something and 9.
Okay.
And
Thomas
then
leave.
sorry in figures. And then in West it was 99. You remember? And so
An inflation of
9,000 or 90,000.
90,000 votes.
That's
An
the
inflation.
hypothetical position I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Right.
tell you that
Right.
there's a case from his own region, right? And then second, look, I'm saying what you're doing. Yesterday, I watched my brother Sami Jenfi doing the display. I was a statistics lecturer.
Which display?
Then I said, we've been here before. The interesting aspect, most of the things he's putting out have materially do not affect this thing itself. You know, if the Shira, there's the good case, okay? You remember Finger of God and Co.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So if you look at them, say how materially different are they?
Okay.
It tells you our electoral processes are fraught with challenges. That is how come you're to have
I thought we spent a lot of money to get a
yes,
digital
and we have
system.
improved. We are improving.
That was watertight.
We are improving.
And you know what? You know
Yes,
what?
we are
You know
improving.
what? For
That's why
example,
we were so vigilant.
George,
Yes.
we're wrapping up. But you know
Yeah.
what some electoral watchers have said? They've said that, look, Madam Jean Mensah
Yes.
had been head of the IEA.
Yes.
It was the IEA that made some of these proposals that
Yes.
we're
For
implementing
reforms,
now.
yes.
Now she's in
And
the
Supreme
driving
Court.
seat.
Yes.
And
And she's
we
been
are
excellent.
and we still are
She's
having the
been
same
excellent.
challenges.
Look,
Oh, Malik,
do you know,
allow me.
when you
And we
went
still
to
have
the-
these challenges. Does it
what-
add up? that you propose, you put pressure.
Listen.
See, it does. You put pressure on Farijan, you put pressure on Charlotte to say
38,000 polling stations.
You
Madam J. Mensah is not going to be in all these stations.
You can't. Well,
she has
but you see, George, that's making an excuse.
And we have agents
George,
as well.
George.
Yes.
Now I'm saying that.
Yes.
Madam Jean Mensah had been boss of IEA.
Of course.
She made proposals with the organization that influenced the 2012, 2016. Now she is in power. She is in the driving seat.
Yes.
And we still are having some of these problems.
Yes.
Now, you are saying that she can't be everywhere in all the 38,622
police. So she's trusting
but the
others
Electoral
to do the work.
Commission...
And we, the agents...
Allow me to die before you bury me so that you hear my question. Now, all these 38,622 polling stations have persons who have been committed on an ad hoc basis who will be paid.
Yes.
Are we getting value for money? Is it your opinion?
Thank you. We should be, but there are challenges. You know, a clear case in Ewutu Senya, when an officer, EC official, was tearing off the picture of Nanado. You get it? J. Mensah asked her to do that.
This is the Electoral Commission supposed to have trained this person.
So J. Mensah asked her to do that.
But the
she has her own sentiments. And she's bringing
so the Electoral Commission didn't train the people well.
Agents. No, they might have trained the person has a personal interest.
No, George.
And being mischievous and diabolical.
George, I don't get you. See, the Electoral Commission answers to us.
Yes.
Boss Manasari answers to us. Mr. Tete answers to us. And all the other four that ask to them.
Yes.
We give them a job. In fact, they made a strong argument.
Yes.
And even the CI that they have now broken by declaring results and correcting it, their own CI that they proposed said they cannot correct it. They proposed it. They told us that get a new system at such and such cost so that the mistakes we had in the past won't happen. They go ahead to vet people and to get them to become returning officers.
Johnny.
Now the returning officers are doing what in Pidgin we call nya. And you say we shouldn't hold her?
No.
What are you saying?
No. You must hold her. But there are some, ultimate responsibility, I agree. But they've put structures in place from polling station through all the structures to the top. By the time a figure reaches the headquarters, you should have been sure, your party agents, especially the two major parties, that these things are being properly verified.
Ambassador Sampiale.
There's a problem.
Ambassador Sampiale sent us. Ambassador Sampiale has sent a message. Hold on. Please put your microphones off for me. It says the negligence of an agent does not call for rigging of an election. It's like a thief putting up a defense that he should be set free in court because he robbed a bank, saying that the policeman at post should have arrested him. Johnny, the EC kept changing the numbers without going to court. So why are being urged by the MPP to go to court? That's the NDC. The Supreme Court is too important to correct arithmetical errors. Under 44G of CI 47, the presiding officer of the polling station shall post a signed copy of the presidential election summary sheet as set out in Form 10 of schedule at the Constituency Coalition Center. So it's surprising and alarming that the EC is violating its own regulations with impunity, and which is what I said, that the Electoral Commission went to Parliament to say this is the CI I want to work with. Now it appears they have brought in their own thing. What happens when the Electoral Commission errs? That's the question. 2, the Electoral Commission says it has changed the numbers that it inadvertently announced. We know its structures: polling station, Constituency Coalition Center, Regional Coalition Center, which is a novelty in this election, and the National Coalition Center. If they shaved off the numbers, shouldn't they be telling Ghanaians where they shaved the numbers off from? 3, the values for rejected ballots. Why has it stayed constant? Does it make mathematical sense? I don't know. Thank you, Georgie Isi of Nadbo and Malik Masitali of Savannah region. Well, let them have the demonstration. We'll see you after the break.